Welcome to another episode of Reemo Reels TV. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time. How you doing out there, audience? It's been a while. Um, got a great show for you today. Basically, what I want to talk about, I probably got about 3 to 5 minutes to talk about. Today's show is about. The Fix Is In by Brian Tuohy. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but this is a book that I picked up this week. It's a very interesting book. And the reason why I think it's interesting is because it opens and answers a lot of questions that I've had about professional sports and the entertainment industry for so many years, or what they call the industry is sports. And this book basically is telling us that, professional sports is organized. Professional sports is rigged, so to speak, as most of us like to put it. Most of these games are fixed to the T. And, it's a big business. The players are in on it. The organizations, the NFL, the NBA are all in on it, all working together with the networks to help fix the networks' ratings, build their ratings. And everybody has a stake in this, from the referees to, the players to the coaches. Everybody has money in on it. And, it's a big business for the mob, basically, the secret society people that, really have a lot of money into this. And, but I kind of figured it was rigged for some years now. When you think about FanDuel and DraftKings and all of this, these gambling platforms that are really, really huge, you have to believe that it has to be rigged to a certain degree if Vegas has all this money on the line and all of these big wigs have all this money on the line and everybody's putting in a particular bet. You would have to believe that, all of these people they're not going to hit. Their bets are not going to hit. Vegas is not going to pay out 1 million people the same bet amount. So let's say 1 million people put in a bet that the Kansas City Chiefs is going to win the Super Bowl. And those 1 million people that put that money up, each of them will have to be paid out $5 million. Now, for you to think that Vegas is going to pay out 1 million people $5 million a piece, you gotta be insane in your head. You gotta be really insane in your head. They don't have the money to even pay that out to probably even 5 people, or they would go bankrupt. They make their money basically off of people's losses, like you that put a bet in. So if you put a bet in on the opposite side and you lost, they're going to take your losses that come from right here, and they're going to pay this person that's the winner with your losses. But they have to have a substantial amount of losses to pay this winner, if that makes any sense. That's why it takes a couple of days sometime to pay me when I win my bets, and I'll be winning a lot of bets on FanDuel. But this kind of made me feel like really, really upset a little bit, because it's like, let's be honest, like a lot of us that have been sports fans for so many years, we would like to believe that, our favorite teams, did it on their own, that it was not fixed, that it was no hidden agendas. But I'm sorry to disappoint you, ladies and gentlemen. That's just not the case. And I didn't have to read this book to kind of suspect that. When you see certain outcomes that have occurred in the NFL and the Super Bowl and the NBA Finals, you can kind of suspect that there was kind of some funny business going on, especially with Tim Donaghy. About 10 years ago, I believe it was caught, gambling on NBA games. And he released a book called Personal Foul, which I also have in my book library, that I'm also going to start. I've got to finish that book. I actually started it. And Rasheed Wallace has a podcast, and he's revealed, Tim Donaghy as, admitting that, he rigged most of Allen Iverson's games, Rasheed Wallace's games, just to name a few. And how they would do this is, there would be moves that certain players would like to do, like Allen Iverson would like to cross the ball over, but he would palm the ball when he would cross it over. So they would use what players did, to make a living and to make their careers, their signature moves. They would target those to call, carrying, anything that they can call on a player. They would use that to kind of fix the game, fix the scores. And I mean, come on, oh my gosh, we don't even have to point out the free throws and the fouls that they call, to fix these games. So I kind of suspected it for years, but this book actually gave me the actual proof. And when I started betting on games and seeing how much money I would win from the bets and seeing how much money, other people were losing from the bets, I start putting one or two together, like, oh, okay. Now I kind of get how they make money from this thing, and now I kind of suspect that sports is fixed. I mean, the game has to go a certain type of way, and I don't imagine that a side is going to put all of this money on this side, not knowing that it could be a gamble. It could go either way. These big people that's putting up money. We're putting up a little bit of money, like $10 and $5. No, these big important people are putting up millions of dollars. So they need the game to go a particular way. They can't gamble and say, oh, it could either go this way or this way. They don't want no gamble. Because a gamble for most of these people, they could lose everything they own. So they don't want no gamble. They want a sure thing. So their best way of knowing that things will go the way it's supposed to go is to rig games. And most of it stems from, ratings and these leagues trying to basically guess and predict what we want as fans to see. And that's where it comes from, meeting the ratings. And, these big networks like NBC, CBS, Fox, they get paid millions and billions of dollars based on a certain matchup that occurs, based on a certain player or team that is on their networks. And this, influences gambling, influences them to, fix the game to go a certain way because, they're in business to make money. So they're going to want, things to go to a certain type of way that's going to bring them more revenue. It's all a business, and we think of it as an organized sports, and we don't think of it as a business, but it is a business to a certain degree. Even if there wasn't gambling in it, it's still a business aspect to the NBA and NFL. But this is just taking it further than that, that they needed to be organized and fixed. But they can't let the public know that it's organized or fixed, because if we knew that it was organized or fixed, we wouldn't invest any money into it. We wouldn't invest our time into it. We wouldn't be so antsy about sports, if we knew that, the winners and losers were picked and selected. But that's how I feel right now reading this book, and I've been doing my own personal research. And I think when I seen Tim Donaghy on Rasheed Wallace's and Bonzi Wells' podcast, that's what kind of influenced me to start doing more research and digging. And let's be honest, another thing they were saying in this book, and I hope you guys pick it up. It's called The Fix Is In. And go pick this book up, man, because I think it's a really good book. And I only read like about 12 pages of it, and it's already opening my eyes to a lot of things. They basically saying, Americans spend way too much time watching sports, and I have to agree with that. We spend a lot of time watching sports. So, it's something that I feel we need to open our eyes to. We're in 2024 now. I think Americans need to be more investors and money savvy and more spending time with their families and more building themselves up character wise and goal wise than just spending so much time watching sports. I think we as Americans need to do that. Not to say most people aren't doing that, but I mean, I suspect a lot of people aren't, because a lot of people invest a lot of time into watching sports. And, it's basically the Wizard of Oz. It's a show. Just like when you buy a ticket to go see The Lion King or you buy a ticket to go see a movie, it's a show, And, man, and another reason why I kind of felt like these games were fixed, man, when I started thinking like how Vegas and the bookies would think, I started winning a lot of money on FanDuel. I won about over $2,000 on FanDuel, and I've only been betting for like a couple months. I haven't been betting that long, but I make small bets though. Like some people win way more than that because they make bigger bets. But I make small bets and I increase my profits. But that's all I wanted to talk about here on Remo's Real TV, Reels TV. I'm gonna be dropping a podcast soon for Remo Reels. We're gonna have a whole setup, and it's gonna be a connection of this show, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be really really great. It's gonna be well organized, and hopefully you guys will join me over there as well. If you're visiting the podcast for the first time, please like and subscribe below. It will really help out my channel. That's all I got, man. But I really want you guys to go pick this book up, especially since I was talking about it in this show, and see what you feel about what they're saying in the book. I think it's a really great book. It's one of the best books I picked up, and I couldn't put it down. The only reason why I had to put it down was I had to go back to work. But it's something that I'm gonna read, later tonight. Start reading it again, and that's that. So until next time, till next show, guys. Thank you for joining me. Peace out.